that time you've been working all week long for. The time we officially... Let's hear some car horns out there going with the whistle. Everybody ready? All right.
I know.
Quitting time. I said it's quitting time. I was the foreman. I was the one says when it's quitting time of terror. Quitting time!
You are a wonderful person.
It's a party town. Friday evening, what a feeling. Feel like singing.
Losing his mind. And I'm reaping all the benefits.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Greetings and salutations. Happy Friday to everyone out there. I hope you've had a good week. Hope things are going well. Merry Christmas as we head into the holiday season. And yes, I got to see the grin that I've been waiting for because this guy probably didn't know that I've been using his dance sequence in my opening now for at least 2 weeks. So, Ryan, my friend, how are you been, brother? What's going on?
I've been doing very well, Pops. It's great to be here with yourself. Oh, to have that hair. Again, yeah, it is literally going, folks, and it will be gone pretty soon. Naturally, not by my own hand. And it's also great to see Project Storytime. I'm sure we'll have a great show talking about some Christmas stinkers, ladies and gentlemen.
We were talking about it before the show, folks, and I call them Christmas attempts until we come up with a better terminology. Maybe one of you will coin something that will work.
I like Christmas attempts. I do like that phrase.
Yeah, we'll come up with something that can capture it. But you know what? Josh, you're kind of to blame for the concept because I've done a lot of, we do talk hard, we do Christmas reviews, we do whatever, but no one usually takes pause of like the calamity that was that initial phase of Christmas stuff. And you and Eris had done one of the gems. So, brother, thanks for doing this with me, hanging out.
Yeah, no problem. Great to be here. It's been too long.
Yeah, it has been too long. So good morning, Daryl. Hope you're doing well. Everybody out there, hope you have a great weekend, good Christmas, things like that. If I don't catch up with you, but yeah, brother, awesome. If you're not already connected to Daryl through VacTube and stuff like that, you're missing out on just another great channel, great hangout and stuff like that. So, and I'm using that YouTube thing, giving those memberships away. Just, you got to do it, man. You connect with people, get that early access on videos, that kind of thing. Those went to Billy Go Boom, Lord Tatman's Comics, Channel Starface, Heidi Mealy, and Daryl. Congratulations. Awesome. That's good. So awesome.
All right.
Oh, look at these. They actually cross into EV Mux. Very good. Thank you. Good on you, EV Mux. It doesn't always work on the other platforms.
No, it does not.
No. It is a damn shame, but it is great to be here, and hopefully as Pops gets used to what I like to call EVMU, he'll be firing on all cylinders very, very soon.
Yeah, I've ranted and raved about StreamYard enough, but John Lovitz is yeah, I know. I sneak some rando things like that, and for people like you, Ironcaster, for sure. Penny, great to see you, lady. Merry Christmas. Hope things are going all right. Yeah, you're more than welcome, brother. Get some early access stuff. Will be up there probably by the end of the weekend. I got interview with Lorena Creole. She'll be my last Watch Your Story of the year. And obviously I'll be on vacation for my day job. So a lot of videos will be kind of like thrown out for stuff from like the next 2 weeks just to kind of fill some slots. So But yeah, let's go a little backstory. Josh is on with Eris every week. I don't think I put that link there, but I need to go back and put that link in the description for you guys to catch that every Saturday. And they were doing Whizzo. So TV didn't come quickly. TV kind of evolved very slowly with like, a little 15-minute thing here, and then it was a 15-minute thing here, and then Howdy Doody showed up. But I think it was 1949. One of you can check my work. And I think that's when the TVs actually hit like the catalogs and everyone at home go, yeah, we can buy one of these. And that's where you actually got TV kind of getting into the homes. And then I Love Lucy and some different things that kind of evolved from there.
I Love Lucy revolutionized a lot.
Changed everything. Yep. The fact that people would watch TV, like it was like appointment television, right? The concepts. Mm-hmm. So Christmas seems like it makes perfect sense. We should have like religious content, or we should have, holiday content, and just it makes sense. But how do you do it? Who has money for it? What does it look like? So you end up with these amalgam type shows, which look more like bad high school plays, knockoff sets that would be rejected for the TV stations. I mean, it is a calamity. And the best part of having Josh, who's subjected himself to some of these things, is to also have Ryan, who didn't even know some of this stuff even existed.
It's a great reminder that in the age of television, likewise with the age of content creation, there were moments, there was a period in which there was no rule book. You didn't know what to do. So you had to throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. We're in that process right now as video makers and live streamers, but it did exist before, and it will exist again with new forms of media. And I'm sure every film that we go through today will be an example of absolute stinkers that were so bad that no one can remember them. As for me, from a British perspective, everyone got a television when the Queen got coronated, I think back in 1953. That was really when the television boom hit to watch that coronation. Mm-hmm. And it snowballed from there into the 60s and 70s. And the BBC really led the way in that front, away from just radio to radio and television. And that's a broadcasting corporation, not what you're thinking, Americans. Okay.
All right. I personally, this is one of those things. I know Ryan he's got a dossier on me, he likes to say, but some of you may not know from like my writing days and my radio days and whatever. I went down that avenue where I had a lot of press access and things of that nature. And I think, Josh, I said this during your show, like, how would you have even heard of this? And I'm like, well, I got into the practice of just started covering Riff Tracks, who was transitioning away from Mystery Science Theater, which I was very familiar with and loved very much, into Riff Tracks. So they would take just about anyone for press. They were looking for press. So even a lowly little blogger and a nobody producer for radio shows who wouldn't even talk about most of the stuff you would try to get them to talk about, they wouldn't even talk about. But reality is, I've seen, sadly, all this stuff that Riff Tracks has done, which makes it 10 times better, by the way. But
it really does.
This stuff's on Tubi. This stuff's on YouTube. We're going to talk about Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Santa Claus. The first one's going to be called Santa Claus versus the Devil, which I think is sort of like
the how best to bore your audience in 10 minutes. I mean, the first 10 minutes of that film, you're just like, so when is this film going to start?
Oh, yeah, I don't really know.
When he's at the Kidatron.
Oh, yeah, it's. So the concept is Santa is sort of like in outer space,
as you do.
I mean, that's where you would start, right?
Why not?
None of the customs or mythology have Santa Claus in space, but in this movie, instead of being at the North Pole, he is in outer space, and he spies on kids accordingly and uses them
very, very disturbingly.
Yeah, all sorts of very strange, odd elements with these like slave children working for him.
Children from around the world, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh.
they're all working
all of whom can't sing, by the way.
Yeah, but you can just see it's just really bad stage sets and costuming and all sorts of crazy elements that set everything up. He goes to each little country on his little Kidnaping retrofitted organ, and I felt like it was like some idea that they robbed from Disney's Small World, and but this predates, I think, some of that.
I
But
believe it
I don't know.
does.
I don't know. I'm scratching my head on this origin of TV thing, but it's like, how did they get such a strange concept out? Like, this wasn't like, it didn't perpetuate anything traditional at all, did it, Ryan? Like, there wasn't anything that felt Christmassy really in this movie, other than they're just like people cosplaying as Christmas characters.
It's just smashing different genres together and expecting this innovative product for people to enjoy. I mean, smashing the Christmas story with the battle between heaven and hell.
You mean Santa and hell?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in this case, you've got the story of Santa Claus mixed in with the war between heaven and hell, and then you've got this crazy setup, which is mental. It's mental. This is mental.
His name is Pitch.
Yes.
Okay.
Who dances around in pantaloons. Very, very devilish.
Yeah. So, yeah, this movie was so yeah. Daryl, I don't know what to say. I'm not, like I said, I'm going to call these things like attempts and not movies, because I don't know that there's a plot or a story really. Like, I don't even. There's sort of an effort at one, right, Josh? I mean, we're trying to have a story.
There's something about the devil is trying to stop Santa from delivering the gifts, because if Santa doesn't get back to the North Pole space station castle, whatever, then he can't. Then Santa will die, and that will end Christmas permanently. I guess that's the story. Yeah,
so I mean, and I guess that benefits the devil. And Pitch, as you saw, just bursts into flames at time, and he's been tasked with this role in this. And if he doesn't do it, I believe his punishment is to eat a lot of chocolate ice cream.
Yes, and that will give him indigestion, and that's his motivation to try to stop Santa.
Yeah. Is this the one made in Mexico? Because the idea of indigestion as a punishment when diarrhea was a big problem in the second and third world in the 50s does sound like an appropriate punishment.
Okay, there you go. See, now that's why you are here, my friend. You're plugging in some of the gaps of us trying to figure out like how and whys, and because that's true. It's like there has to be some better explanations and piecemeal together what they're going for and why they're going for.
Well, it's a 1950s Mexican Christmas movie. Are we really expecting a stellar success here?
I expect my best from Satan versus Santa Christmas movies.
I expected some more. I said I would just gonna say like gravitas. Like I don't even know what that means. Something to go on. Like, I feel like people have never seen this, and the worst part is the movie is sort of billed as just Santa Claus. So if you see these posters, let me just take the video down for 1 second, and then we'll come back. Sorry to leave you. I know. Hang in there, buddy. Let's put this back here, and then it'll just be. You'll see this poster, and you're like, "What is the deal?" So there's just a poster that just says Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So yes, the little devil Pitch is down here on the bottom right, but an unknowing soul might subject themselves to this just by seeing this poster. And if I don't know how this came out into America, but that easily could have been a pitch that
wasn't it K. Gordon Murray who he took films, like foreign films, and have them cheaply dubbed so you could quickly turn a profit? Wasn't that this was one of his babies, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But is that pretty much the only way it got here? I wasn't totally sure. Yeah,
I would assume so, because I mean, he did that with. I believe he also did the Gamera films. Just took those cheap Godzilla knockoffs, had them cheaply dubbed, and shoved them out into the States.
Now that's a great way of making a profit. Don't make a $250 million film trying to convince people Falcon is Captain America. Just cheaply dub a foreign film and make some money.
Okay, so a little background. So I had to look. So I'd make sure I'm not losing my mind. Okay. Because again, another reason to have a conversation. So this is literally quote. This is this is even on Wikipedia. It's on both. Okay. The film is considered a financial success. It was a staple. I can't even say this with a straight face. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Financial success over several holiday seasons. Theatrical releases in the 60s and 70s, broadcast a holiday tradition in several U.S. TV stations. Now, that sounds crazy absurd, and it took a lot to get that out in a straight face. But I guess, in theory, when you think about it's the 1950s and what else is on TV, what else happens at Christmas time, and kids are home, and okay. I mean, is that a fair assessment, guys? What do you think? I mean, I think that's probably the best explanation.
Well, and especially back throughout the the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you had local stations that were just desperate for anything to be able to broadcast. They had to fill the time.
Right. Very good point. That is a very good point. And yeah, this is definitely the K. Gordon Murphy series of projects that he was working with, and there's just a massive demand to have stuff come in. So, wow. All right. So he's incorporating characters from Santa's Village amusement parks, which include Tom Thumb and Little Red Riding Hood, Santa's Magical Kingdom, Santa's Enchanted Village, and Santa and his helper. So these are just these random creatures. Yeah. All right. Let's get back to our, I don't know, as Riff Tracks likes to call him, the, kind of attractive little demon.
Oh my.
I mean, there's also there's the whole subplot with Lupita wanting a doll.
Yeah.
But then, like, there's the scene where she's like, she almost steals the doll, but and Pitch is like telling her to take it, and the narrator is almost like the shoulder angel. Why are you so invested there?
Well, at least Santa looks like Santa, but that thing, that structure, like that machine, looked very
terrifying.
Yes,
absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, this thing is crazy. It's got this weird projection eye thing. This is how he looks down on Earth from his space station. There he is.
This is freaky.
Remember the crazy eye and the trash compactor in Star Wars? I'm like, this is Santa's mechanical version of it. It's nuts.
George Lucas stole it from this movie, obviously.
Oh my gosh. It was copyright free, maybe.
Possibly.
Real Wade stopped by. Hey, man. Good to see you.
Hello.
Was this originally released in black and white?
I believe it was colorized.
Yeah, I think they colorized it. Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what gave it the edge back in 1959, was the fact that it was in color.
Well, even into the early 60s, that would probably make sense, too. It's like it would make a theatrical thing. You could go and see it in color. And obviously with his suit and stuff, it's, it is very vibrant looking. Like, it's not like he blends in. A lot of this stuff is very muted and shadowy, where it's all shot on location. This is that backstory about the little doll, by the way. And the crazy lips talk, by the way, just so you guys know.
Horrifying.
This thing talks like it's completely insane.
America's first trans character, ladies.
Here's
Mexico.
The ear. Here it is. Here's the ear.
I disown this as an American.
Santa's always listening.
It's just an ear on an oscillating fan.
I know.
It's so creepy by the standards of today.
And maybe the creator was inspired by like Ed Wood, right? So, Plan 9 from Outer Space with like literally like the plates on strings and stuff. Like, listen, the people will just pay for anything. We can get this through. Sure, why not?
Maybe he had too many trips to Tijuana, and that explains some of the inspiration he had.
Yeah. Here's the doll.
Oh, there's
the lips.
Yeah.
Here's the lips. What are you saying? Ryan, Roger, Hefe. That's what it said to me. That's what I heard.
It looks like something that gobbles kids up. That's what it looks like.
It's so odd and just, oh my goodness gracious me. All right. Well, if they made this for $50 and 5 people went to see it, I guess it could be considered a success. I think it's considered a way bigger success, Daryl. I really do. I think that it just was. It's in an era that predates like the cinematic experience that we're used to, and that yes, there are movies and big movies and theatrical stuff, but this transcended into like Christmas break, and it would just be on TV and little TV theatrical runs, and yeah.
And with the action, quote unquote, between Santa and the Devil, I think this was the Mexican children's version of Die Hard.
All right, before we get to Die Hard, we have to get
Merlin.
We have to get
about Merlin.
Yeah, I have to admit about Merlin. Okay, so I just wanted to, before we got to Die Hard, I had to give everybody. So Santa needs help. So what's he going to do? Who's he going to turn to? Not a Christmas North Pole type thing. No. So, all right, when Merlin pops up, what is going through your brain, right? Like, what on earth is happening in your brain? Like, because you had not seen this at all. I think you watched. Did you watch the whole thing?
Yes, I did do a first watch of all the films in question, and it's just bizarre. They're all bizarre. They're insane. The idea that who's Santa gonna call when he needs help? A pagan wizard.
Yeah, this is his special helper. So this is basically the equivalent. This is like to Santa. Merlin is to Santa as Q is to Bond.
Yes.
I need to be invisible. I need to make sure
a golden key that opens any doors.
Yep, magic key. I need to make a sleeping dust. I need to be able to knock these kids out so these little bastards will be asleep. I mean, look at the creepy Merlin dude, and they got a really strange dude.
If I remember when Eris and I watched this last year, I think I made the joke of he's more lively than our president, though.
Could be Sleepy Joe. Could be him in there. He kind of walks off stage like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the movie transcends into, and then we have more of like, how do we
Hephaestus at the forge, I guess.
Yeah. So in addition to Merlin, we'll have to go.
The reindeer are toys. They're not actual reindeer.
Yeah, we get a hairless. So we're going to Greek mythology, and we're just going to manufacture metal robot reindeer. Oh, just every little thing is just so strange. You're like, what is happening? The irony is he's a good-looking Santa. Like, he really looks the part, man. But the story, who wrote this again? Just two Spanish dudes.
Are we just is Achilles gonna pop out of nowhere next, or Hercules, or I don't know, Abe Lincoln, or Santa Maria, or whatever his name is?
It would have been better if Abe Lincoln had shown up. So then we just basically have this.
Oh yeah, the subplot of the kid who just wants his parents.
Yeah, there's a kid that's just wants parents, and this is the Mexican life and culture, and this sad little girl. The poor little girl actually does look really sad. Like, I could see this actually pulling at people's heartstrings a little bit. Like, she really does look good. She's really
not bad.
Hey, look out this little girl, Maria. Maria, look out the window and just look sad. Just look sad. Someone kicked your puppy. Just someone kicked your puppy.
Like you've been deported. Look sad.
Like, look, you're going to be deported. You're headed to the border. So, okay. So Does the 7585 make the cut of worst? Not the worst. It could be on the list of worst if we're going to count
compared to these three.
Yeah. So as far as a more modern feature film, and one that I actually saw in theaters, as embarrassing as that is, yeah, the 85 is definitely in the running. That is ungodly. I actually told Loki briefly. We were talking about this briefly because he had the same exact experience I did. Is we remember seeing this when we were young and didn't have any negative memories of it. I don't think I remember it being like good or great, but I didn't think anything bad of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's free on Tubi, I think, as well, or some of these other apps. And I kind of turned it on. I didn't last more than a few minutes. And he's like, "This movie is absolute dog crap." And I said, "Yeah, me too." I'm like, "I'm not watching this movie again." So, with that framing, Nerdporio, hopefully that answered your question. Will we ever get a Roger Ryan Athay interpretation of Father Christmas? Oh, well, he kind of...
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Kind of got the look. I don't know.
Recently I've been cosplaying as George R.R. Martin.
Yeah, a little bit. He's got his little rascals hats on.
Yeah, at least I finished my story, but not for a while, Nerdporial. Maybe in 20 to 30 years, when the stress of being a creator turns all my hair gray instead of only a few strands currently.
And a 13 months, crossed a year of being a supporter, Nerdporial. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for that, and congrats on the 3K. I know. Thank you, my friend. I'm going to do a little special thank you stream to everyone that helped keep me afloat and get me to here. And you are definitely among that crowd. I appreciate you very, very much. So, and then another question for Ryan here. Let's see. Battle of the Ice. To stand us when we've been waiting.
I cannot answer that question because as much as reality-based likes to take other people's things, stick reality-based over it, and then make it its own thing, I don't think the guy will let me do that. But, yeah. By all means.
We'll see. I don't know that I really want to torture people with more of this, but I got to get to the reindeer for sure.
When they laugh?
I got to get to the reindeer because goodness. So again, even with riff tracks, so I think the hardest thing with riff track was trying to even focus on the movie because I think it just left me feeling like I think I just kind of felt like dumbfounded, like shocked, like what am I watching? How did this ever get made?
Did they do this on riff tracks? I thought this was a Mystery Science Theater.
I'm pretty sure we had a riff tracks as well. They did like a rescreening.
Oh, I bet that's right.
I know it was Mystery Science Theater, 100% for sure. But
yes,
I thought they did a riff tracks. Anyway, yeah, they did a riff. Anyway, and there's no context. They didn't give you the context of, oh, by the way, it's a Mexican movie from like 1959, so it means it's like early TV era. There's nothing in theaters, no holiday traditions. Yeah, this predates Rankin and Bass, stuff like that, right? So you're just sitting there watching this train wreck of a project, very much like what I did to Ryan. I didn't give him a lot of context. I just, here's what we're going to talk about. I didn't expect him to have to watch all of it. I thought maybe he'd watch 5 or 6 minute trailers and type stuff. But Mrs. Pop's reaction when this was happening, because you got Pitch going, oh my god, ha 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 ha, and they cut to these reindeer and these creepy metal reindeer. Where are they?
It's before they leave. So
it's right after this then. Oh no, it's right. Yeah, you're right. It's before this.
Because they're toys. They have to wind them up.
There it is. Okay, here we go.
Did someone skin a real reindeer to make these?
They're just some sort of like these mannequin things. Like when we were kids, you'd find these toys are made this way. And I remember my sister had like a bear or something. But as they get older and worn out, what happens is the little fake fur and stuff just kind of peels away. And you just have these chunks of like where the plastic and stuff is showing through. And it gets so weird and creepy and gross. Like you do not want these things in your house. You're like, get this freaking. That's what these things are and how they're made of. So wow. Yeah. I never will forget her just gasping to the theater, like, what the hell are we watching? Like, what have you gotten me into? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm watching. So, but yeah, a lot of Santa Claus versus Pitch. Shenanigans are ensuing. And
is there like a fight scene? I mean, could you imagine the Santa Claus versus the devil? It would have been great if they actually had a fight scene.
Oh, like a William Shatner Kirk fight scene. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't anything quite like that.
Let's go through the window, but I'm too fat to go through it.
Yeah, major letdown. It's just these creepy moments where you're like, what is...
You could not do this today. For obvious reasons.
Cancel Santa.
Yeah. It's rough. It's rough. So
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Roger Corman involved. Overuse of a fog machine. No, but that's what I was. The fog machine is the equivalent of what special effect they would have. So
hey, at least it wasn't. At least it wasn't full of asbestos. Fingers crossed.
No. So anyway, the long story short, that's kind of how some of it kind of plays out a little bit. There is a lot more fog, a lot more pitch. These, I know. Just like, what on earth is happening?
This was before gayness was legalized, folks. So maybe there was an agenda at work.
And I'm really envious of Mystery Science Theater and Riff Tracks to be able to just do these sort of like voiceover comedy routines or whatever. It would be fun to do such thing because this movie just lends itself to
yes,
these
it does.
moments where you're just like, holy Hannah, this is nuts. So, okay, so with that, we'll move on to another one. Oof. Any other thoughts, Ryan? Because you definitely were the most traumatized because Josh and I are at least familiar with this.
Yes.
1 down, 2 to go, maybe 3. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We have a little bit of time for. I don't know. So,
but what was your thoughts watching it, Ryan?
I thought, my goodness, we complain about entertainment today. Turns out they had a lot more problems back then. Oh dear,
it's fair.
Well, you can just. I think before we started, I think you said it best. You were comparing it to streaming and stuff like that today. Like how much things change, and I'm, when you have some perspective of 1950 and TV, it's like literally just the first 10 years. Think about just the first 10 years of YouTube, how much has changed. So yeah, I get it. So yeah, holy Hannah. Yeah, I know. I say that a lot. I have a lot of made up curse words and stuff. I should be able to, keep myself from getting too much trouble. Okay, so this was a fun one only because I somehow knew about this even before Riff Tracks and stuff. Science Theater, Mystery Science Theater is, and I only can tell you that with 100% certainty because my daughter and I were at like an event, and they had like a little sheet of paper with like Christmas trivia on it, lyrics and movies and nonsense. And one of the questions was Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. That was one of the answers. And
Pops, you're the laziest man on Mars.
I am indeed. And I just, everyone was dumbfounded that anyone got this question right. And I'm like, I just don't know when and how I saw this.
These are aliens.
Those are. So, listen, I know we're laughing, and it is absurd. And Norporio, I'm glad he's out there because I kind of felt like as much as I want to bash this, I have just this year, I did recently get through all of Trek original series and thinking about the limitations of budget and costuming and how I know I learned about Star Trek. What the devil? Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. What I have to, I know it's, it felt like, because it's 1964, right?
Yeah.
64. So it's the same era, like, it's only a couple years ahead of original series, same timelines, those kinds of things. So, Josh, how did you find this? Did you just end up down the Rift Tracks rabbit hole? Or?
The Mystery Science Theater is how I found this.
Yeah.
Which is easily one of their best episodes, by the way.
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible.
But this movie also it lends itself to that kind of mockery because it's just so weird.
Mm.
But there's genuine effort. They are trying to make a charming kids' Christmas movie.
The setting is just all wrong for a Christmas film. Let's throw in some Star Trek. Let's throw in some science fiction. Let's throw in Mars for some reason. Let's throw in Martians and Santa Claus. Was this made during a fever dream?
So, again, I'm not trying to make excuses for them, but this is that sci-fi boom era, right? So you come out of the 1950s and you're trying to get science fiction into TV.
Is all the rage, all that.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to excuse away any elements of quality for this, folks, or anything like that. But I am trying to put myself in their shoes where they sold this concept. I mean, these things are made with no money. I have no idea how much this was made for. I'm assuming just a few $100,000. But
did this inspire Planet of the Apes?
I would doubt it.
I hope so.
It would be better. It would be funnier story if there was connections to really great entertainment from Santa Claus Conquers the Martian. It would be great. Like I think I could watch it every day of my life if Quentin Tarantino go, the real gem out there is the fact that ahead of its time was Santa Claus Conquers the Martians or something. It's just something so insane. But they have these are sets though that were at least a lot of effort. I don't get this much effort out of Halo sometimes, Ryan, just remember.
Yeah. But that set's it's actually probably better constructed than the original TARDIS set on Doctor Who.
Oh wow, I'm not a Doctor Who person, but that's saying a lot. That's a lot.
Well, early Doctor Who had its back to the wall until the Daleks came along and breathed new life into it. But looking at this, and I did watch it fully, I was thinking to myself, it's like being in a fever dream. How is this a Christmas film?
Because
look at
Martian,
the stock footage.
Yeah. How can you not appreciate the stock footage?
It's like finding Santa Claus in a Top Gun film. It's like, what are you doing here?
I like that one Martian because he has this massive mustache.
That stash is glorious.
That is a glorious.
It really is. It's
mustache.
That is a mustache.
A mustache.
Hashtag mustache. Oh man, Tom Selleck gets put to shame with that stash, man. That is nuts. So, I know. Thank you, Repro. I needed the smile. They made a Halo shift thanks to the misinformation. That's pretty funny. So, there's Halloween themed TOS, but not a Christmas. Massive missed opportunity. Yeah, well, they could have used all this sets. They could have just got all this stuff pretty cheap. I got a feeling. So, you need another mod? Do I? I might. I should probably just go ahead and add someone like you, Norporio. I don't know that I can manage doing this many things at the same time, but I will try to do that in another window if you want to have access. And if you'd like to join us, Norporio, you want to hang out and just kind of jump right into the conversation, just give me a little thumbs up or something for that as well. That might be easier than even making you a mod.
Kids in a Christmas film about Martians, do the little green men with Mars stashes chase the little kiddies?
They do, actually.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Run around. Yeah. And the kids actually are not terrible, though. It's the worst. The craziest part. Yeah. These kids are not terrible.
Okay, so we should cover the basic story of the movie.
Yeah, you go for that.
Okay.
I try to give Norpoyo some access.
Sure. So the plot is this old wizard guy on Mars who doesn't look like any of the other Martians for some reason tells the leader, hey, kids are depressed. They need Christmas like they have on Earth. Why they know about Christmas, I have absolutely no idea. They just do. And so they go, all right, we'll go to Earth and kidnap Santa Claus so that he can bring Christmas to us.
Was that wizard perchance Merlin? Because, yeah, why not?
Who knows? So they kidnap Santa. They then take these two children because they saw them, and instead of just letting them go, thinking, well, they'll blow our cover, even though who's going to believe they came across Martians? They take the kids too.
Mm-hmm.
And they take them to Mars. Santa shows them the spirit of Christmas, and then they send them back. End of movie.
I think it lends itself to a sequel that's never been done.
It does, because this guy on screen, Droppo, becomes the Martian Santa Claus at the end. We could have had the Droppo adventures.
It could be, yeah, Droppo, and then that's just the poster. It just says Droppo, and then it has like a real serious feel to the trauma experienced by these children. No one believed them, but then now the Martians are coming back.
Santa Claus and the Kidnapping Martians.
Yeah, that's a good synopsis of this film. But it tends to try to take itself in a sci-fi era, trying to give people a non-Disney Christmassy film of some kind.
Wait, I got it. We have the sequel is Santa needs help because the Christmas spirit is dying on Earth, so it's Droppo versus the Earthlings. See?
Yeah.
They Earth goes and kidnaps Droppo. That's the sequel.
Droppo is called into service.
Yes.
Now, I don't have the way of excusing away the robot. Robot's just pathetic. So there are some moments. I was giving them a little bit of cred with some of the set design and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even the helmets, retrofitting some helmets, because we did some things. I'm not quite sure what the antenna we're going for there with the antenna, but they would do these shots where they were shot in like a schoolroom, and they used like a space stuff's big and like you said, Josh, hot topic. So they got cool background stuff. The robot.
But
robot
then also
was pretty weak.
But then you also have the like the Martian's weapon is clearly a Whammo air blaster.
Yeah.
It's clearly just so cheap.
And I'd love to be critical of that, but I have to be honest, if I were on a limited budget like that and I did it, then I'd be like, yeah, but everybody at home, you can make your own. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So
yeah.
But yeah. I get Santa, man. These kids just, Santa. Look at mustache guy.
That's the face that face explains the movie right there. Like, if you can sum up the movie, it's that face.
That face is like, Santa, give me them kids. It's just like, you're a creep. Dude, you're a kidnapper. Literally, it's in the name.
I'm wait. It'd be great if we could figure out how to get a dub in and have him say this.
Who the heck are you?
What are you talking about? I'm Santa Claus.
No, you're not. You sit on a throne of lies.
Yeah, I don't know.
And wouldn't this be considered blackface in today's day and age? Because that's
Martian
not green.
No, they're green-faced. What are you talking about?
They look brownish.
Martian love. Gotta have a little Martian love.
Yeah, a little headbutt before you go to work. Yeah.
That irritating forehead to forehead thing that they do in every other TV show or movie now, which drives me completely nuts because I guess they just don't want to have like true affection on screen. It all dates back to this, right? Yeah. And now you know. All right. So, is there anything else worth like major note in the last third of this movie? I think it's
just Droppo becomes Santa.
Yeah, the new
Santa. They have a spare Santa suit for some reason, complete with a beard. Like,
There's Droppo becoming Santa.
And doesn't that just fulfill all your childhood dreams?
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, people, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town. Santa!
Oh my God!
I know him. Okay, people,
Sorry.
tomorrow...
It's Droppo. It's Droppo.
Yeah.
I know him.
So the Borg disguised themselves as Santa Clauses to take over the Earth.
That's Picard season 3 we should have gotten.
Because look at their helmets. They look a bit Borgish.
And they can't tell that's not actually Santa.
He even keeps the helmet on. They didn't even bother taking off the helmet and using like a Santa hat. So
maybe in a certain part of Martian society, they take the hat off because it's part of their thing, and they just cut it off like as a ritual, and then showcase their bare Martian.
And it grows back.
Oh,
and it grows back. The helmet grows back like antlers.
Oh, that could be interesting.
We got to go back and find Marstache guy.
Oh, he's right there.
Oh, well, yeah, but I wanted to see if I could find a little better of a close-up shot of Marstache guy here.
Oh yeah, the kids attack them with toys. The end.
There's so many weird moments in this movie.
The Martian kids are terrible.
Oh right, yeah. Gosh, this is nuts. Anyway, I wanted to point out because Norpoyo has a great comment. It's so true. That Marstache guy kind of looks like an Elliot Gould character in MASH, and that is pretty close. That's pretty good. That's good. So, Norpoyo was asking you what your thoughts were about Picard season 3.
Plenty of nostalgia. Terrible story.
Okay, there you go.
Why is everything so dark? Is that the race swapping they're talking about? They don't race swap characters. They just race swap the whole lighting system.
I like the Martians have slapstick. They just bop each other around, and there's Marstache.
There it is. There,
Elliot Gould. And he kind of has a Jamie. Speaking of the MASH reference, little Jamie Farr going on here too. That's
what? Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it must have been a lighting issue because in a previous scene, the lighting was low and they look brown.
Does he dress up? Does he put on a dress to try to get out of the Martian military?
Man, those would make great Halloween costumes. So, man, that would be so freaking great. No one would talk about insider baseball type costumes. That's good stuff. All right. That's enough of this nonsense. It's out there. It's free on YouTube. It's free. Every one of these services have it.
Yeah, that one's also public domain.
Yeah. All of this stuff is not like anyone was trying to hang on to it, thinking that they can make a profit. So for sure. Yeah. Very good. Let me go over to your conversation because it would probably be just faster and easier for me to just find it on with Eris, where you guys were talking about it, because I don't know the Whizzo thing.
Oh,
unless you have it pulled up, because Whizzo's Christmas. It's.
Yep, the Princess and the Fox. That's Eris of Chaos and Project Story time, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, here's Riffrack's version. It's even better. Pull that up real quick.
Yeah, because Eris and I paused the movie, because to make jokes or comments. So, if you want to actually watch the film, I would not recommend doing it through us.
Streamception. We look at a previous stream, and then someone does the same to us, and someone else does it to them. You'll have like streamception, folks. You'll be able to watch 4 or 5 shows at once.
This is another one of these things too, and I'm so glad that we are able to talk about it because it has just dated itself out. Like the idea of like clown shows like this and stuff. It's.
Whizzo is maddening because he will not shut up.
I can just imagine the modern audience version. It's called Lizzo the Clown.
Oh, dear Lord.
Right. But I mean, in all seriousness, the movie is like an hour and 10, I believe. Hour and 10 minutes or so. So like just about 70 minutes. I'm not joking. Whizzo probably talks for about 50 minutes of that.
Yeah, it's pretty much the whole thing. Yeah. It's definitely a vanity project. And so the dude comes from a clown family, went off to war, came back, and just lived the rest of his life as Whizzo. Had a TV thing. I couldn't do the clown thing. I hate clowns. I hated clowns. They creep me out beyond all get out. And even as a kid, this whole Bozo the Clown thing, and there are different clowns all over the country. Barnum and Bailey going around, clowns. It's not my thing. The fact that this poor dude somehow thought that he could pull this off with, no budget, it's still just sort of shocking because it's just so badly done.
Well, but the thing is, though, he did have a career.
Oh no, he was doing. That's why he had a career as a clown.
Yes, because his show started in like the late 50s and it ended shortly before his passing in 87.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I mean, he stayed local, so he was like a local Kansas City celebrity.
Right, yeah, that's what they were. They were like this was a huge thing. Like I said, I grew up in this era where Bozo the Clown is this massive thing. It was a huge thing, right? And even dating back to Howdy Doody, it's like this is a thing that was in our culture and our history, and I'm so happy that it's gone. But it is just one of those weird things where maybe it's just a competition thing. Maybe he just literally felt like, no, screw you. I'm a clown. I'm big in this market. We're going to do a Christmas special. Get some kids in here. We're just doing this. You know what I mean? I don't know. Oh, dear
It's
Lord.
Definitely freaky. I've interacted with many fine folks and fellow creators who are visually afraid of clowns. So this is definitely a product of its time. And it's simply an example of a one-man band trying to leave a lasting impact. And this movie is a tremendous example.
I don't know if he was trying to leave a lasting impact. I think it was more he was just trying to entertain children.
Well, you try doing this today, Project Storytime, and you'll be carted away pretty quick.
As you should, because this is terrible.
You both brought up a very good point. It's almost like different sides of the same coin, right? Is it he is truly trying to entertain children and put something out there, a Christmas special and all of that. And again, it is still in that era where there's not a lot on TV, not a lot for Christmas. I got a local show. We could do something for Christmas. What could we do? I'll do a variety show. And then there's also like the vanity project part, because it's like he talks like every minute. He's obviously, we'll get to it in a minute, and you can just see the sneering face on these children's face. They're just completely. There are shots of these kids, and they're literally like suffering. They're just bored out of their mind. And it is awful on children. People talk about. Let me just say it this way, then. Kids get a bad rap when it talks about working with kids in entertainment, because when you film an entertainment, you're talking about 8 to 12-hour days of doing nothing for these little 5-minute, 10-minute spurts. Like a kid's attention does not work like that. So to be stuck in a room with all these other kids and Whizzo, the freaking clown, who thinks he's way funnier than he is.
But here's the thing, though: these shots last forever, so they're not sitting around, for several minutes as they readjust the camera or anything, because so much is done in single takes.
Oh, that's true too, though. Yeah, because there's whole scenes where like they don't cut at all, and you hear like little kids coughing. One little girl farts. Like there's all sorts of shenanigans going on.
Oh, I find that funny.
Here's his magic machine thing,
so that they can watch Christmas displays in storefronts.
Kids go in and money goes out, ladies and gentlemen. That's the clown machine.
I was obsessed with the Grand Pies game growing up. Bozo was a WGN. Yeah, that was a big deal. And WGN kind of like lengthened that popularity, or made that even more widespread, depending on who you talk to, I guess. For me, it was still just like run and run away. Just can't do clowns. not my thing. So yeah, just in this very odd, strange, like, what am I watching? It just goes on forever. Yeah, storefronts. At least these are. Sorry, excuse me. I definitely have met people who don't even know what I'm talking about. I talk about Christmas storefronts. So at least something like this could be pointed to at least document, like, these were kind of a big deal to us as little kids, because we just, I didn't live anywhere near close to Florida at that time, so I had no idea what Disney was like. So this is the closest thing I've seen to come, like, these animatronics and movement and cool decorations, and so.
Oh, and there's a subplot with that girl there. There's a subplot where she's depressed, and he tries to show her the true meaning of Christmas through showing her these storefront displays.
Are you sad, little child? Well, then come into my machine and be happy in no time. That's what it feels like.
Commercialism. So yeah, it's definitely a weird, hey, I'm a clown, come into my machine.
Yeah.
My phobia is on all, and this little belly dancer girl, and just, oh dear Lord.
Yeah.
And stick your head into this device and many good things will happen. Go ahead, Project.
And then they get on this magic carpet, quote unquote magic carpet, and they fly to the North Pole to meet with Santa for like 5 minutes before they just like, well, we gotta go.
Yeah, I want to get to that shot because it's literally just like 2 seconds of Santa time. Here we go. Magic carpet.
Now, for a no-budget children's local TV show, the shot of them flying, not terrible.
Yep, that shot was actually pretty good to get here. And they just ended up in another room at the department store. And the close-up of the thing, and now they get to see Santa. They're kind of, come on out of the machine.
Oh yeah, he turns on all these toys for them for some reason.
Yeah. But it's not about Santa, it's still about Whizzo. Like you're talking about the argument is about vanity or not. It's like, yeah, it's still about Whizzo though. It's not really about Santa. Like Santa doesn't really stay center stage, so.
Right, because despite the fact that they have this very thin subplot of this depressed girl that Whizzo's trying to cheer up, it's still about Whizzo doing things to try to cheer her up, as opposed to how can we make her happy.
Yeah, the Whizzo that's actually on Bozo was a wizard, and it had to be terrible for poor Whizzo's brand, because he was branded as Whizzo the Clown long before Bozo, I think, added the wizard. So yeah, dude had to be like drinking himself to sleep at night, going, screw that freaking Bozo stealing my name. And I could just feel it.
That's why you copyright Whizzo.
Yeah, trademark, baby.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah. So the fact that you guys had dusted this off, are you to blame for Eris watching this? I'm assuming. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Poor Eris. You're meaner to her than I am to Loki, just so we're clear. Ironcaster is our devil in disguise.
Everyone's being mean to everyone else. That's why you should check
Merry Christmas!
That's why you should check out Reality Based, where we're nice to everyone.
You are not nice to anyone. You are so
I am
full
nice
of crap.
to everyone.
You are not. You are so mean to absolutely everyone.
You know, I called a guy's company. I named a guy's company after a MASH character. Millions of people tried to cancel me.
I've heard. Yeah, trust me, I know. Anything I hear about Ryan, your channel, I usually just kind of shake my hand and just shake my head and just, oh, okay. Yeah, that's Ryan. I know what you guys expected. He's going to go where no man has gone before and see what happens.
Well, good point, Pops, because I need to do a 3,000 subscriber celebration video. I'll probably put it into today's show, which is Reality-Based Tangent Kings. Any excuse for a good celebration. My, oh my.
So then, and we'll just briefly touch on this one. I don't even know when I have watched this, so we won't really get into this story because I don't remember enough about it. But I can just say it makes me smile when I think about it. Yeah. Hulk Hogan. You didn't know about this, Ryan, right? So the Hulk Hogan
No,
Santa with
no,
Muscles movie.
I played the movie. I didn't play the game because they didn't make a game. But I played the movie and I enjoyed it because with Hulk Hogan, you know what you're going to get as an actor, as a performer.
Merry Christmas, brother.
And he just acts the same way. It's
Yeah.
just Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I actually, it's sort of like the opposite of the Vanity Project with Whizzo. I actually would have probably enjoyed or laughed more if it was just Hulk Hogan Christmas or something, and it was just some sort of weird.
That honestly would have been more entertaining.
Yeah, just stop pretending to be this character in this show and just go around and because they ended up getting like Clint Howard is in this, right? And then Ed Begley Jr. I think is in it. I don't know who the other people are off the top of my head. I've not seen this forever, but I remember seeing the poster for this and laughing and wondering, all right. So, but yeah, he's basically helping out an orphanage at one point. He's fending off physical attacks because of the wrestling shenanigans. And yeah, Hulk Hogan Christmas, man.
Because I mean, if you're gonna have Hulk Hogan in your movie, you got to have him do fighting scenes.
There you go.
Kind of like a proto Rock, wasn't he? Because the Rock did similar things, becoming an actor, which he became more famous for.
Rock is far more versatile as a performer than Hogan.
Yeah, I mean, I think at some point with The Rock, because he was really just nothing but a giant physical specimen for first couple things like Scorpion King or something. But then somewhere along the lines, they were like, listen, you could do this. And they probably just sent him to some acting classes. So like Jim Carrey has talked about that, like getting to acting classes. And there's a few of them that embraced it and realized that they could actually be better and learn something. I don't think Hulk Hogan was ever like, hey, listen, I could actually become an actor. Yeah,
I don't know because
maybe
he in the early 90s when the whole wrestling steroid scandal happened, he kind of started to do some movies to get away from that.
Well, Thunder in Paradise is a fantastic example because he was approached. That was when he was first approached to be part of WCW. And he initially was like, no, brother, I'm going to focus on my project, Thunder in Paradise, which was a very successful project. So you could say that Hulk Hogan was a trailblazer for professional wrestlers to get into other forms of entertainment, such as acting. And you've had many examples of this. You've had, of course, The Rock. You've had John Cena. You've had Batista, to name but a few. So there you go.
All right. Yeah, no, it's out there. It's definitely
one. I'm just having a look at the cast for the Santa with Muscles. Apparently, Mila Kunis was in it.
Yeah, she's got a small role.
Yeah.
One of the kids. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
She had a Shatner role too that she's in. Don't remember that movie either. She's in that one as well.
Was that American Psycho 2?
The sequel. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think she just didn't. She was just young and just didn't understand. I'm actually with Captain Kirk. She, listen to a little, they don't understand. So, but yeah, bad Christmas, folks. Because as much as we did talk hard on Jingle All the Way, and I've talked endlessly about how every year we watch Christmas movies nearly every night, and I always seem to be stuck. They throw in movies like Deck the Halls or Christmas with the Cranks, and these are movies that are just not good movies, but we can have moments in them that are fun. We can have laughs. We can have things, and then we can always take a pause and realize how far we've come. And Ryan has now been traumatized very much by the TV and film history that Josh is so proudly going around and reminding us all of. Is how I feel. So
I just wonder, guys, in 50 to 60 years time, if fine folks and fellow creators who wrote the rules in regards to content creation and live streaming do the same thing to us. It's like, how could they? Look at the lack of professionalism. Look at all the naughty words this reality-based is saying. How did he not get super duper whooper canceled?
I wonder that all the time. So
I'm still wondering that actually, but I would I would spoof my own videos. I could watch like a 2019 video and be like, oh my god, it was terrible. But I just didn't know what you were doing. You're flying by the seat of your pants. But But when it comes to Christmas, you just got to pull out those gems. Like here's one from Jingle All the Way. It is a gem, and I have no problem re-showing it over and over again.
Oh, Howard, excuse me, but your wife's cookies are out of this world.
Who told you you can eat my cookies?
Oh, these cookies! I gotta get the recipe from Les.
Put that cookie down now!
Doesn't really get old.
It's
Doesn't
very
really go
interesting because I've just been called, so I'll be right back. I know we're wrapping things up, but I'll be as quick as I can.
All right.
Phil Hartman was taken way too soon.
Oh yeah, he was a gem, and yeah, my friend. So as we kind of wrap up, though, is there a positive? You got like a best of 2 or 3 that you actually do enjoy watching? You're like, these are actually the good ones, or do you revel in the fact that some of these are bad? They're so bad they're good.
I mean, I will admit, I do watch Santa Claus and the Devil, the MSG3K, every single year. I do generally enjoy it because it's just so weird and bizarre, and their jokes are just phenomenal. Mm-hmm. In terms of like Christmas films and stuff that I actually do really, really, truly enjoy, I mean, I have a soft spot in my heart for the Rankin Bass Rudolph. It's an all-time classic. And also Charlie Brown Christmas. Is it the greatest animated thing ever? Absolutely not. But it has the heart.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We have that ability to now live vicariously through the grandkids, and that's what they want to watch as we go through all these Rankin and Bass and that classic. So that era I want to make, just like I did with my kids, so special that they'll hopefully 20, 30 years ago, that stuff will not die. It'll have a massive still fan following and can live on, because as outdated as it may seem, it's still, like you said, it has the heart. So,
and also the fact that it is stop motion, you don't really see that much anymore. It shows that they did care. They did take the effort to do it. That's
very true. Wow, Norporio, the very first time you've ever seen Nightmare Before Christmas? Whoa.
Really? You're in for a treat.
I may not be able to watch that live or check the stream out live, but I will definitely have to catch that. Penny's dipping out the door. Lady, you take care. Be careful Penny. Out there. Merry Christmas. Yeah, Norporio, this, that stop motion stuff and being able to pull that off with the music and stuff is just, I can't wait to see your reaction and your thoughts on all of that. And that kind of leads me into my tease for next year, to be honest, because my first show, I think in 2025, I'll be doing on Friday. I don't know how I'm working out guests yet or co-hosts or whatever yet, but I'm going to do one on cult films. What is a cult film? What are cult films? That kind of thing. And one of my theories is a movie like Nightmare Before Christmas was a cult film because it came out, it was fine, didn't have any following whatsoever, and then it got a following that got so big. Now it's no longer a cult film. Now it's a mainstream film. But it kind of had to go through a phase where a movie kind of can become a cult, have a cult following.
I would say the kids that watched that movie growing up, they are once they grew up and became the standard audience. That's when it made that transition.
Yeah, it's a little bit. So I think it was a little bit before. It was like there's just a delay. Is that a 94 film? Nightmare 93.
Yeah,
93. So
I think the kids that saw it when they were kids.
I think I wrote that article in between like 2003, 2005, and I was just lambasted on calling that a cult film because it was a mainstream film. It was a Disney production. Right. And I'm like, no, but it didn't make a ton of money. It wasn't like this massive hit. It was recognized as being like successful and stuff. But I was saying it has a massive cult following. And I was pointing out the fact that there were so many people that were into the merch and this. I mean, you would think it was almost like it had like Star Wars sort of phenomenon. And it hadn't really kind of rolled out yet on Halloween versus Christmas. And then once it was just taking root, and it, of course, has exploded. I think that's what you see with like a movie like, I'm going to point out like movies like Blade Runner or The Thing were cult movies, 100%. Like they were box office bombs, whatever. are they cult movies now? Because everybody can have access to them. Everybody talks about them. They're on best of lists, whatever. So that's where I think the conversation can at least be interesting.
Right films at the wrong time. That's what we should, in my view, describe these kinds of films. They were great films, just released at the wrong period of time, because standards throughout the years go up or go down. And over the past 5 to 10 years, historically, when it comes to film, the standards have gone through the floor. So the things that were bad in the 80s and 90s or weren't well received during that period initially are going to do far better today. It's like a 6 out of 10 80s film would be an 8 out of 10 today, I dare say.
That's true. I think that's a fair assessment in one angle, for sure, because I think although the timing matters so much. That's the Blade Runner and thing argument. I mean, you're in the middle of like the ET phenomenon. Wrath of Khan is in theater. I mean, the stuff that was out in theater, it was just a horrible time to release those two movies in June. It was just that's a big factor. And then, like you said, just doesn't land with an audience, and the audience rediscovers. Donnie Darko is probably one of the best examples where I don't know who saw Donnie Darko in theaters. I don't think I've ever really. I don't know. It just didn't land. It just didn't go. And I was seeing nearly everything in theaters, and just like one of those things where it's just so oddly put out there and no one really kind of knew. It made some money. I remember seeing it on like those kinds of lists. It was talked about, but it wasn't until later everybody was, have you seen this movie? This movie's crazy. And you're like, oh, this is freaking great. That kind of thing. So again, like Nurpoya was saying, just earns out to this audience over time. So
timing is very important. And I first discovered that, and surprise, surprise, the film in question that's the example is Captain Marvel, released at exactly the right time in between two of the most successful movies that Disney Marvel ever produced. So timing is very important, folks, especially if you can get it in a period in between two projects, like a great first part and a great second part. Anything in the middle of that is going to do well, regardless of its quality. And Captain Marvel is a fantastic example of that. And the Marvels, which it was its successor, is a prime example of a project standing by its own 2 feet, or in the Marvels' case, being cut to pieces from its feet because of how badly that film did.
Yeah, it's absolutely awful. So saw it in film class. Very cool. Very cool. So, all right, Josh, what you got coming up? What's going on with you and things ahead of the next few weeks?
Not much actually. Eris and I are done for the year. We'll be back on the first Saturday of the new year. And in the meantime, I have work and school I need to finish.
All right. Ryan's always got a major crazy schedule, so definitely make sure you have got those links. I'll earmark. I'll make sure I got them all. I got a lot. Got to clean up the description on this video a little bit. Put a lot of stuff in there. But Ryan, a little quick little synopsis of some of the things you got coming up.
Well, I've got a few videos coming up for today, ladies and gentlemen, and also reality-based Tangent Kings will be live at 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern. Our special guests will be Stupenzo and Forest Mommy, recommended to myself by John, the problematic white guy, and Toasty with the Mosty. I'm outsourcing even my guest appearances now, trying to help regulars, do what I do, because that's how reality-based spreads. I don't know whether or not I'll take a day off tomorrow, but hopefully I'll be up for it. Yes, that's great. That's excellent. Hopefully he didn't radicalize you too much. He has that effect. But expect plenty of videos, plenty of shows, and plenty of videos from said shows. And if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe to Pops, to Project, and hopefully to myself. Thank you all very much for watching. Till next time, bye for now.
I'm not going to even try to top or elaborate on that. That's good enough. Folks, listen, have a Merry Christmas. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Ryan, for hanging out with me, man, doing this. It's always a lot of fun. And you know what? Yeah, as bad as Christmas comes and goes or whatever, maybe going on for you, maybe something like this can give you a laugh. You like maybe Christmas movies are too serious or whatever. You can watch some Mexican Christmas movie with freaking a devil named Pitch and freaking spandex. I don't know. I don't even know how to put into words some of these things that are actually out there. So we hopefully made light of it today. Don't have one of these coming up for a bit. It's going to be into 2025 as well. So check that out. I'll get that scheduled here soon. And yeah, it's just been a great time doing this with these guys. Thanks everybody out there for watching. I'm Pops.
Thank you for